Hello everyone and welcome back to our month-long emergency series. So we are nearing the end. Today is day 28. Today we are talking about a bird strike. So here's a common scenario. Let's say you just lift off and you see a flock of birds starting to cross the end of the runway. Or maybe you're on final approach, right? And you see some birds starting to pass through the approach end of the runway. So what do you do in these situations? So after you have just lifted off, right? You're low, you're slow. So maybe some small turns, right? Or some small pitch changes would be appropriate, but nothing too crazy. Now, if you are on final and you see some birds starting to come over the end of the runway, you have a few more options, right? Should you continue to land? Should you go around? So the option really is up to you, right? Likely you want to do whatever provides you the best chance of missing our feathered friends. So let's say you try your best to avoid birds, but despite your best efforts, you hit one. So if you strike a bird, remember the most important rule of flying, which is fly the airplane and maintain control of the aircraft. Second, evaluate the impact to your aircraft, right? This will determine your next steps. So if you have a bird sitting in your lap and a bloody shattered windshield, you're likely going to have a challenge bringing the aircraft back in for a landing, right? But what if it hits like the wing or the tail? Well, most likely you have at least some structural damage to the aircraft. So if you hit the bird en route, I think you'd want to head towards the nearest airport and then get safely on the ground and then evaluate the damage. So while bird strikes for the most part are unpredictable, there are a few precautions that we can take to lower the odds of this occurrence. So 90% of bird strikes take place while the aircraft is taking off or landing, right? So be extra vigilant if your airport has known bird activity, or if you hear of bird activity, you know, with other aircraft communications or on the ATIS. And then also for airports with heavy bird activity, you can find notes in the chart supplement for different warnings on the bird hazards. So be sure to read that info before you go flying into the airport. So day 28, bird strike. Have you ever hit one? So I've had some close calls, as probably most people have, but fortunately I've never hit one. Thanks everyone for watching today. Hope to catch you tomorrow and fly safe.